I dub thee Asmongold, Twitch Socrates. And honestly, you should strive to be more like him. No, I'm not suggesting you should skip washing your hands after using the bathroom, regardless of how clean your genitals are.
No, I didn't wash my fucking hands. Why would I wash my hands? I've got a clean dick.
I mean, your house, your rules, I suppose. And I'm definitely not advocating living a life of voluntary squalor, in which a large portion of your diet consists of pan-fried $2 flank steaks and microwaved russet potatoes.
But that's a good fucking looking potato.
No, I'm specifically talking about how this man...
What's the sound that a horse makes? Neigh? Was that good?
...has used internet fame and fortune to change almost nothing about himself. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but is it a good thing? Hello, fellow deployers of common sense and logic. So, here's the thing. Today's rant is about your boy, Asmongold, aka Zach Rar.
I was hoping you'd say that.
AKA, that's eventually known as MMO Jesus.
That's right, boys. Praise the Lord.
And dubbed this day forward, on authority of Malcolm of Logic by Proxy, as Twitch Socrates. Those of you that are familiar with the ponytailed React Andy
Y'all think this shit's funny?
may already have an idea where I'm going with this. But for those of you with normal, well-adjusted lives that are unfamiliar with the Twitch YouTube landscape, and also bad with historical figures, allow me to paint you a short word picture with my perfectly normal-sized mouth brush, and probably accompanied by a few memes. Cue superhero origin story. Many of you, including myself, are lifelong gamers.
Oh my
Clutch!
God.
Clutch!
And unlike myself, Asmongold is actually a successful veteran Twitch streamer. Yeah, geez, must be nice you balled in. Sorry.
Wait a minute.
His career as a content creator kicked off with a simple YouTube channel, where he shared his in-depth knowledge and passion for his favorite MMO with the other sweats of the internet.
Hit yourself in the fucking face. Fuck you.
Wow. Precisely. Yes, the worldwide sensation World of Warcraft. I mean, there's a good chance that many of you watching this have had your own personal brush-in with the worldwide phenomenon, either as some casual peer pressure dabbling, or because you full-on Leroy Jenkins the game. But this man immersed himself in WoW, basically living and breathing around playing it, gaming for hours on end with little consideration for the cleanliness of his surroundings or his own personal hygiene.
Literally nothing has fucking changed.
He spent most of his early days being carried by his mother in raids, a sick brag that any of us gamers wish we could make. Over time, he built himself a small following on YouTube. And though he was simply having fun playing with friends, occasionally uploading videos, eventually, like most of us, he realized he had to make some money. But after a short stint as a Sam's Club cafe worker,
Cafe associate.
he was determined to find a way to make money and avoid needing to be up before 10 a.m., a personal goal near and dear to my own heart. He eventually landed a responsible adult job with the IRS. A job he actually particularly enjoyed, but he was still deep into his WoW grind and he continued to drop new videos. And when he wasn't vigorously fapping to anime cat girls in his spare time, he was kicking around the idea of live streaming, ultimately deciding to give it a shot.
I've kind of got a little bit of an announcement to make, is that I'm going to start streaming. In terms of times, I'll probably be doing it late at night. You know, I want to have as many people as possible, watching the stream, I guess you could say. But
So I was a viewer count whore ever since day one. Can you believe that? That's disgusting.
At first, he was skeptical about live streaming his favorite game on the internet. But if you exclude the one short stream in which only one viewer stopped by, just to call him gay then leave, his first real stream reached about 250 concurrent viewers at its peak. That's an achievement that the vast majority of us will never reach without some sort of embedding or view body. And come on, we all know buying viewers is like popping 40 milligrams of live streaming Viagra. Yes, it works to an extent, and initially it's impressive, but ultimately it's unsustainable.
Getting offline, guys. Later.
And just like Viagra, at the end of the day, you're left with an unsatisfying, flaccid wang that nobody wants to see. What? Oh, sorry, channel. A channel nobody wants to touch. I mean, see. Fuck.
What did you say?
Cut that in post. As Asmon's YouTube channel grew and his streaming took off, he found himself at a crossroads. And he had to make the hard decision we all wish we could make. To drop out of college, pay the respect costs, and main as a full-time streamer. The dream.
I'm embarrassed.
Now, Asmon was far from the first or only World of Warcraft streamer on Twitch. There were plenty of OGs that date back to when the sun first dawned on the video game streaming landscape. But the one thing that the WoW community, and to a greater extent Twitch, lacked was a hardcore MMO gamer with a +3 in common sense and a passive skill and logic.
That's pretty much my house.
Yeah, enough of the backstory, Malcolm. Why would anyone want to be like this guy? Well, what makes this particular man-child with a neckbeard stand out from the typical Twitch mobs, and most of the people you know, is his approach at delivering his opinions in a very straightforward and logical manner. He is very deliberate in how he speaks. He thinks about what he's saying and how he's saying it.
Well, of course they're gonna do this. Do you know why? It's because that's their job. Like, if your job was centered around finding loopholes in the Twitch TOS, do you think you'd figure out a few loopholes? If somebody said, I'm gonna pay you $20,000 a month to come up with creative ways to make sexual content on the platform, do you think you'd find a way? Yeah, I bet you would.
He also has no problem adjusting his stance on a subject as new information comes to light. Now, what percentage of people you know do that? If you had an answer to that quickly, you're a liar and nothing you say matters to me. Just go spend some more of your parents' money on Honkai Star Rail and contemplate why you'll be alone forever. Now, Asmon already came across as a fairly genuine person early on in his online presence. And with this analytical approach to conversation, people began tuning in for an Asmongold hot take on anything and everything popular culture, nerd culture, and current events related. I mean, we all love a little juicy internet goss, right?
I thought that we would break up within a week, and it actually took a whole 2 months, and so I think things went pretty well. No mere mortal can live with Asmongold.
Now let's circle back around to my comparison of Asmon to the renowned figure Socrates. And yes, it does go beyond them sharing a minimalist look. It's because just like the ancient Greek philosopher, Asmon's way of life, his character, and thought process has exerted a profound influence on Western philosophy.
I am the master of my own life and death. I control my own destiny, and I do it every day and every moment, all of the time.
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch, but people really love and appreciate authenticity in their internet messiahs.
Later on, I got a girlfriend, which is, as much of a surprise to you as it was to, probably me as well.
And possessing that saw him reach an audience beyond just World of Warcraft lovers. His live streams alone often achieve higher view counts than WoW as a category on Twitch. So, he's doing something right. And another commonality, Socrates himself was a widely recognized and controversial figure in Athens at the time. So much so that he was frequently mocked in stage plays of the time. And you can't tell me that doesn't sound like your boy.
Baby tomatoes?
I mean, how many clips exist of his friends and colleagues openly giving Asmon shit or just flat out criticizing him for something?
Interesting. I don't see any lotion near his bed, chat. Now, do you think he removed that before everyone showed up?
Sure, it's all fun for the most part. And even if it were at his expense, more often than not, he'd still give zero fucks and move on with life.
And it works really goddamn well.
And I personally admire that. We could all benefit from a few less fucks given. Now, many of you watching this video at some point have probably went down the rabbit hole that is his content. This man shows up in YouTube algorithms damn near as much as Mr. Beast does. And Asmon has inarguably dug fewer wells in Africa than he has.
Dude, this dirt is so fucked, man.
I didn't crunch the numbers on that one, but I feel fairly safe with that statement. And I'm also going to wager that at this point, Asmon has probably spent more time mining in WoW than the entirety of child labor camps mining cobalt in Africa. And I dare you to fact check me on that one. Go for it. Now, Socrates was admired by the likes of Plato and Xenophon. In their works, he was portrayed as a man of great insight, integrity, self-mastery, and argumentative skill. And as long as self-mastery refers to Asmon's daily big titty anime girl special happy alone time, our boy, in my opinion, possesses and demonstrates all of these qualities at length.
Guys, like, I mean...
And possibly girth.
Oh, God.
There are plenty of eerie similarities between these two men. Their look, their simple way of life, their approach and their thought process. But Asmongold is only getting started. And we can't say yet that, like Socrates at age 70, he'll be brought to trial on charges of impiety and ultimately sentenced to death by poisoning from a jury of his peers. Though, that does sound like a typical OTK content stream. And come on, let's be honest. With his current diet and his aversion to fruits and vegetables, he'll most likely poison himself by age 40. 45 tops. He won't hit max level. What I can say with certainty is that in the many Asmongold React videos out there, you see a simple man, whether he knows it or not, regularly deploy his own version of the Socratic method. The Socratic method is defined as a form of argumentative dialogue between individuals based on asking and answering questions, which he frequently demonstrates in his conversations with his chat and his friends.
If you want to play the games, we have to follow the rules. However, if you want people to respect your rules, they should be logically consistent, and they should be backed up by logic. And there is no logical reason that shit is a bad word, but poop is not. So why should anybody else respect that ruling?
This method searches for the general commonly held truths that shape thought and scrutinizes them to determine their consistency with other beliefs. Now, what the hell did he just say, the 33 IQ Andes are asking? He'll typically deploy the Socratic method with a series of questions, formulated as tests of logic. Which, you know, we're pretty big on here. And this approach is intended to help a person or a group discover their own beliefs about a topic, while hopefully solidifying his original stance on it.
You knew that it was against the rules. Now, the rules are fucking stupid, but you knew this because you've been punished for it before. And you did it again. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, you still have that Emeru look in your eyes. All right, let's go way out on a limb here and say he doesn't like something Twitch is doing with their newest TOS update. Far-fetched, right? So the Twitch simps start berating him in his chat. He'll then pose a series of questions and examples to them. This is in an effort to allow the Cheetos dust to settle on their keyboards and them, hopefully, arriving at his originally stated opinions.
How can you solve a problem if you can't say what the problem is? How can you do that?
Often with a little exclamation point on it.
You are a piece of shit.
Now, why is this important? Let's take a step back. Let's look at the world we're all living in. Our media, political figures, and world leaders routinely sell us their personal agendas as fact. We're fear-mongered and sold manufactured rage as the truth through our news outlets. We're being manipulated and lied to. We exist in a time where Asmongold, a Twitch streamer, consistently talks with more truth and more common sense and logic than any other source out there. So it's not really a surprise when individuals like him garner a huge following and success. He gives it to us how it is, and he shares his opinion. He's gotten into some pretty heavy and controversial subjects throughout his online career. But he doesn't act like he knows everything. He's just a regular person who's not afraid to discuss any topic.
I think one of the biggest problems that people have socially, they're afraid of talking about uncomfortable things. Because they think that in talking about the uncomfortable thing, they could somehow be misquoted or misunderstood as if they were a bad person. I'm not afraid of talking about uncomfortable things. I have no problem with it. I'm not afraid of it. I actually enjoy it. So I never worry about people getting angry about what I say, people lying about what I say, people misquoting me. That's just what's going to happen. And whenever it does happen, it won't matter.
And that is refreshing. Alrighty then, my parasocial butterflies. This is why we all should be more like Asmongold, Twitch's Socrates, and maybe to an extent, more like the actual Socrates. But that guy's old as fuck, so take a seat, boomer.